Welcome to the Chef's Kitchen. I'm your host, Nicole Gaffney, and we're here today with Executive Chef Michael Adams from 1741 on the Terrace, located at the historic Hotel Bethlehem. Welcome back.
Thank you. Great to be here.
It's always nice to have you on the show.
Thank you.
What are we making today?
We're going to be doing a poached egg dish, a little breakfast item. What we're doing is we're going to be making a chorizo potato cake, and we're going to use some fresh herbs in it. We're going to be doing a lime creme fraiche. We're going to be doing poached eggs, and we're going to serve it with some really nice freshly sliced avocado. So we're going to start off by just taking a little bit of minced shallot.
That's a huge shallot, by the way.
It is.
You can use the whole thing or just half?
No, we're just going to use a little bit minced, just to add a little bit of flavor to the preparation to the potato cake. We're going to use shallot, and then we're going to finish it with a little fresh chive. Oh,
I love chives. Probably my favorite herb. And they're just starting to pop back up in the garden this time of year, which is very exciting. First little sign of spring.
Sure is. So we're going to start off by, we're going to take a little bit of olive oil.
Okay.
And we're not going to caramelize the shallots at all, but we're going to start off by browning a little bit of the chorizo sausage.
All right, so tell me about the chorizo a little bit.
So it's just a Spanish-style pork sausage, and there's cayenne pepper and paprika, and then of course, you know, the ground pork and black pepper, and we're going to just lightly brown the chorizo.
I love chorizo. It's one of my favorite sausages or ground meat products. I think it's got so much flavor in it.
It's going to add a really nice, really nice heat to the potato cake, and then we're going to have that creme fraiche to cool it down.
Nice.
So there'll be a nice, nice combination of flavors. So we're just going to lightly brown that, and over here we have a few fingerling potatoes, and we're just going to cook those in a little salted boiling water with some bay leaf.
Nice. Now, do you start those in cold water and bring them up?
I do.
All right.
Yep, and then simmer them for approximately 15 minutes, depending on the size of the potato. So they always vary in size, so approximately 15 minutes.
Okay. Any particular reason why you like to use the fingerlings?
I just think it's a more flavorful potato.
Okay.
And
nice.
And it holds together well. But ultimately, anything I use for a particular dish, it's because of flavor.
Cool.
Right, and it's going to hold up for the potato cake.
Great. Wow, you can really smell the bay leaves that you just put in that water too.
Yeah,
so fragrant.
Again, it just balances out the potato, adds a nice little dimension to it. That's
right.
it.
You don't really know that it's there.
Right.
But it really adds to the flavor.
All right, so that's almost there. We're going to add a little bit of shallot, and we're going to sweat that.
Okay. So tell me about the new breakfast concept that you guys are doing.
So what we're doing is
we're
actually going to start. We have a very traditional menu right now, and that's geared towards we have a vast clientele that all want different things.
Sure.
So that menu was developed because generally when people get up in the morning, they stay at the hotel, they want to go right away.
Right.
So it's not like a long, leisurely breakfast.
Sure.
So that menu was geared towards that. What we're doing now is we're going to incorporate all of the ingredients we use for our dinner menus. So we're going to be featuring a lot more local organic vegetables. Our eggs are going to be organic.
Wow.
And the challenge is getting the volume of ingredients. So I've been speaking to our farmers, so I'm getting them to grow enough so that we can execute well and maintain those menus and make sure that we have enough for all the guests who come in for breakfast.
That's amazing. So how many items are you going to have on this new menu?
Right now we probably have 20 different items. So we're going to take some of the old items off. We're going to introduce the new items, and it's going to be around the same number,
Okay.
But we're going to introduce a new breakfast sandwich with house-made bread.
Oh, wow.
We're going to do lots of different poached egg dishes. We're going to be doing, different omelets, again, utilizing those seasonal ingredients. And it'll keep it really fresh, and hopefully our guests will be excited about it.
I think they most definitely will.
We'll return with more from the Chef's Kitchen. We now return to the Chef's Kitchen.
All right, so this is almost ready.
smells unbelievable in here. That chorizo just has so much going on.
And you want to make sure that the pork is fully cooked before you incorporate it, because you're not gonna, we're only gonna, when we finish the potato cakes, all we're gonna do is, we just want to light, we're gonna make it light brown on the potato cake. So you want to make sure it's fully cooked.
That's a good tip.
All right, so at this point, I believe our potatoes are ready to go. So again, they were cooking a little bit before we started the show, so they're all set. And we're gonna just strain the water off.
All right, so they're fork tender,
Correct.
easily pierced with a knife.
And make sure you get all the water out, because that's gonna affect the the dryness of the potato.
crisping.
Yeah, and it's gonna dilute the flavor a little bit. So this is about 90%, so I'm just gonna pull that off.
All right.
And then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take a fork and we're gonna crush the potatoes. So we're just gonna drizzle a little bit of olive oil in there.
So it's almost like making mashed potatoes.
Same thing, same thing. We're gonna leave the skins on, and we're just gonna crush them up right in the pan.
Oh, look at that. Easy enough.
Yep.
And is there any reason you're doing it right in the pan? Is that to kind
It's
of...
just to keep them hot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
you want to keep them hot. You don't want them to cool down. You want them warm when you're searing them in the pan, because again, you just want to caramelize the potato cake, when you're cooking it. So
Okay.
I'm just gonna smash it right in here.
Okay. Nice. Now, is the bar going to be open during these breakfasts? And are you open 7 days a week?
We
for
are open
breakfast?
7 days
Okay.
a week. Yep, and we
Great.
serve breakfast until 11:30.
Fantastic.
That is not to say if someone comes in and wants breakfast at 1 o'clock, we won't do it, because we're certainly happy to do that.
Very accommodating.
And the bar, yep, the bar, yep. We're actually in the process of renovating it. So, and we're going to be introducing a new craft beer list.
Fantastic.
So that's something that I felt like we had to add. That's pretty common in a lot of restaurants right now.
It's very common.
And there are so many great beers out there right now, and I feel it's just gonna add to what we already have.
I love that. And you're doing some really great featured cocktails. I know you're working with a local distillery.
Yeah, Eight Oaks is someone we've been working with for the last year, and they make incredible gin. And in the fall we do Applejack cocktails with apple cider, and sometimes we'll make apple cider syrup. So we'll take a reduction of some herbs and literally reduce it down to the consistency of maple syrup, and then we drizzle that into the cocktail, and their spirits are just amazing.
Wow,
so
that sounds
it's great that
fantastic.
we have them close by. All right, so our potatoes, and they don't have to be smooth.
All
They
right,
should
so
be
you
a
want some
little.
chunk in
Yep.
there.
And I'm just going to add a little bit of more black pepper. A
And
little
you
bit
added
of
salt to that also, right?
Yep.
There
A
you
little
go.
more salt.
Did you salt the water at all when you cooked those, or no? You did a
Yeah.
little
Yep.
bit?
We salted at the beginning. Yep. And obviously, the better the water tastes, or any liquid, the better the end. Your
Right,
end
'cause
result
it's
will taste better.
absorbing it,
Yep.
right?
Okay. So we have the potatoes. I'm going to add a little more olive oil.
Okay. What kind of a consistency are you looking for in terms of
So
the
you just
oil?
want it enough to, you want it to bind up. So
Okay.
when we form the potato cake, you just want it to, hold together essentially.
Okay, great. Are you going to be doing specials for breakfast as well, or are you going to stick to the menu?
No, we're absolutely going to be, because ingredients change so often. Early spring is much different than mid-spring, and then
Definitely.
as we move on, and then obviously the weather is going to impact when and what we'll have. So
course.
we'll definitely offer specials.
That's great. And you offer a nice Sunday brunch as well. Is that going to be a different menu, or is that going to stick to the same stuff?
That the items and the the ingredients change for that as well, but it's a very successful brunch. So there's subtle changes, and
Okay.
maybe some of the regulars may not notice, but we notice. But it's a great brunch.
Yeah, it
so,
really
and it's
is.
very successful. And we do 300 people every Sunday.
That's incredible.
And,
Live
and
music.
then on our we have music, and it's incredible.
Yeah,
it's an experience.
such a fun place to have brunch. It's exactly that experience.
We'll return with more from the Chef's Kitchen. We now return to the chef's kitchen.
Okay, so we're gonna taste these to make sure they're seasoned well enough.
You could probably eat them just like that. There's no reason to even take this the next step. More salt.
A little more salt.
I love that you're always tasting your food throughout the process too. It's so important for a chef, but it's surprising how many don't actually do it.
Yeah, because as things reduce, and how long it cooks, it's gonna evolve and change.
Exactly. There's
as
really
the
no other way
process
to know.
moves along. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna put folding in the chorizo here,
Yum.
and right in the same pan that we cook the chorizo in, we're gonna sear the potato cakes up.
I love that. We have all that, the fond and the oil and all the flavors
So,
in that chorizo.
yep, all of those flavors will absorb into the potato cake. We're gonna just turn that up a little bit.
So slightly higher heat when we're actually going to crisp the potato cakes up.
Yep, we're gonna serve them nice and golden brown. And they're not too hot,
All right.
so we're just gonna form them into little potato cakes.
Great. Almost like making crab cakes or meatballs almost.
Same thing, yep.
Little patties. How many of these would come in an order typically?
2.
Okay.
Yep. 2 eggs and then 2 of the potato cakes.
Nice.
And it's hot enough now. We're just gonna add that in.
So you don't need any extra oil when you go to cook this. You're just using whatever's.
We're gonna add a little bit later in
Okay.
the process because the potatoes are gonna continue to absorb all of that. So we're gonna add a
point.
little bit more as we cook them. All right, so we can turn that down a little bit. The next step is we're going to, we're just gonna take a few grape tomatoes. We just wanna cook them enough so that the outer skin starts to wrinkle a little bit.
All right.
All right, so we're gonna use a little bit of olive oil.
It's nice to be able to utilize these little grape tomatoes when the really good tomatoes aren't in season.
Yeah, that's, if we use tomatoes, if we use them in the restaurants, we always have to do something. We gotta cook them or roast
Right,
them
for
or
sure.
toss them in some herbs and just because they don't taste very good. You
Right.
gotta make them taste good.
Those taste better than any other tomato you can get this time of year, I
Yeah,
think.
yep. So we're just gonna cut them in half.
So there's one thing you guys do at the historic Hotel Bethlehem that it's my favorite part, and that's every morning there's coffee in the lobby that you can go and get. But with that, you serve Moravian sugar cake.
We do.
Tell me about that, because I think that's so special.
So it is a recipe from, it goes back to the late 1700s.
a long
And
time
it's
ago.
an original recipe. So it's made with potatoes
Yeah.
and butter, lots
lot
of
of
butter,
butter.
and a lot of sugar. One of the breakfast cooks, they come in at 4:30 in the morning
Wow.
and they proof it, they bake it, and
'Cause it's
we
a
can't-
yeast- it's a
we-
yeasted
yeah,
bread
it
or
is.
dough.
Yep, and they just we never have enough.
Really?
We never have enough, so we kind of keep enough till 10 o'clock, and then when we're out, we're out.
Well, I
So-
understand why. It is so delicious, and it's one of those things that I had never even heard of until I had experienced it there. And it's just one of the many little touches that historic Hotel Bethlehem has that really sets it apart from other hotels.
Yeah. Okay, for the grape tomatoes, we're just gonna put these in the pan. And I left a little minced shallot.
Ooh.
We're gonna season those up. And a little bit of shallot in here. And we're just gonna gently toss that. So they're already starting to slightly
Yeah,
caramelize
that
there,
happened
right?
fast.
So I'm gonna turn that down.
Okay.
And then we're gonna go over here and we're just gonna make a little bit of lime cilantro creme fraiche. And it's almost time to turn the potatoes as well.
Okay.
All right, so this is very simple. Just again, really fresh ingredients. I don't like chopping my cilantro too small. I do
All right,
like
like
coarse
some
chop.
chunk.
Yep. And we're just gonna add that. And then we're gonna take a little bit of lime zest
Wow, nice big pieces of zest.
and a little bit of juice.
What gave you the inspiration for this dish? I mean, there's a lot of Spanish and Mexican flavors happening.
So we have several employees from Mexico and Puerto Rico, and we've been really bringing their ingredients into the
awesome.
kitchen, and they understand them more than I ever will because that they grew up in it.
Right,
so they,
right.
I think sometimes we tend to overdo things. And it's so interesting how things sometimes taste so much better when you keep them simple.
Yeah,
you know?
that's really cool.
And so, and that's the beauty of this business. Like, I continue to learn.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and it's amazing how much I've taught them,
Right,
but they
exactly.
give back, you know.
That's
And
fantastic.
it's a pleasure to work with.
We'll return with more from the Chef's Kitchen. We now return to the Chef's Kitchen.
These are nice and golden brown.
And you can tell how crispy they are. Look at that. And they're already cooked through in the inside, so you don't have to worry about that.
Nope. So nice and golden brown.
They look like crab cakes, kind of, don't they?
They do. They do. You know what? Quite frankly, you could probably put a little bit of crab meat in
You
there.
probably could.
There are so many things you can
Yeah.
do. This is just a base, and then you can make that evolve.
love
And
that.
that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
as we move, you know, as time passes, the dishes are going to continue to evolve. So we're just going to add a little fresh chive, and we're just going to leave
Those
that
look
sit.
fantastic.
Yeah,
In
very
and of
simple.
themselves. Toss
Ve-
that with a little pasta, you're
ve-
done.
Very simple. And we're gonna poach the eggs. So we're just gonna add a little bit of white vinegar to the
And
water.
what's that do?
It just the initial coagulation and the protein. That's it.
All right.
So it's gonna form that. It's gonna
Helps it all
set
stay together.
right away. So we're gonna add that in.
Can you use too much vinegar?
Yeah, you can. It's gonna. You don't want the egg to taste like vinegar,
Right.
right? So
I've done that before.
yeah. So it's approximately 2 tablespoons per cup. Is
Okay.
the ratio
So
we
not-
use,
a
and you don't
tad.
want the water like boiling. You know the
Keep it
100 and,
gentle.
175 to 180 degrees is like perfect.
All right.
So
So, just
they
like a
don't
little
start, and it's going to
bath.
initially cool down when you put them in, and then I'm going to turn it up, and then I'll turn it back down.
Lovely. And you're getting all of these eggs locally also?
When the local smaller farmers have the ingredients, we buy as much as we can from
Yeah.
them, but we always have to subsidize,
yeah.
right, and supplement from Lancaster Farm Fresh, but most of those farmers are certified organic. So
That's amazing.
And there's hundreds of farmers in Lancaster.
There are.
You know, and I can get the same greens, and they're always slightly different. So they are.
They happen pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Just keeping them from sticking on the bottom,
Yep,
is that what you just
move
did?
them a little bit. Actually, at the beginning of the process, if you just swirl the water a little bit around and then you add the egg, it's going to prevent that from happening.
Oh, okay. Because that keeps it moving a
misstep
little.
on my part. But
We
if
won't fault you
just,
for it.
Just agitate the water a little bit, keep it moving, and then when you drop them in, they won't stick at all.
Fabulous
And
tip.
these
We
are
love that
all
on the Chef's Kitchen.
ready to go. See the really light,
They're
light
beautiful.
brown. Yep. Here's our chorizo potato cake.
This is a nice portion. I mean, these 2 cakes, they're a good size. This would definitely fill me up in the morning.
All right, so the potatoes are almost ready. We're going to slice the avocado.
Great. How's the best way to tell when an avocado's ripe?
Should be slightly soft.
Slightly soft.
That's it.
All right.
That's it. So I often find people struggling to get the seed out.
Yeah.
Do you ever notice that?
Yes.
People always struggle with
They
that.
do.
And all
With
you
a
have to
spoon
do
or-
is just take your knife and then
Right.
it comes right out. Yeah.
If people are afraid of, going towards their hand like that with a knife, you can just hold it in maybe a kitchen towel, right?
That's it.
So you just scoop the flesh out with a spoon.
That's it.
It came out easy.
And then we're just going to slice this down and we're going to season it.
Are you going to have avocado toast on the menu?
So we're going to
trendy
have
right now.
some form of an avocado
Okay.
toast. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be
Right.
yet. And that, again, that'll be something that'll change seasonally.
Nice.
Yeah. Everyone
Everybody's
has
doing it.
avocado toast,
Yeah.
but everyone loves it.
Right, it's true.
Right?
It's
So,
true.
all right, so we're just going to.
I mean, avocado toast is all good and fine, but I would take this any day.
Right, so we're going to put our little sauteed tomatoes on here.
Really colorful dish, too.
All right, and our eggs are just about ready. Yep.
Perfect. You can see that yolk is just perfect in the middle.
All right, and we have a little bit of the lime cilantro creme fraiche. And we're just gonna, right in between. It's gonna cool the heat down from the chorizo.
Yes.
And we'll just hit it with a little bit of black pepper. All right.
Well, this looks amazing, and you have to join me in tasting. Even
Thank
though
you.
I'm sure you've already had it, but cheers.
I never made it before.
Let's see. Look at that. That's perfect. I'm gonna get everything together. It's hard though.
What do you think?
This is so good. When I'm quiet, you can tell that I really like it. Everything's so well balanced. The potato cake is crispy. It has just a little bit of spice from the chorizo. It's by no means overwhelming. And the tomatoes add that little bit of acid that's so welcome. You knocked it out of the park like you always do.
Thank you.
This is amazing. I can't wait to come back to Hotel Bethlehem and have this again and try everything else that's gonna be on your menu.
Awesome.
Cheers.